Hello, 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 everyone. Welcome to the S.h.e Virtual Vision Board event. I am your girl, Angela Lewis, one of the senior leaders of the S.h.e district, and I am so excited for this weekend. Y'all know we have been planning this, and I'm telling you, there's nothing better than kicking off the year with a vision board event, right? So we just want you guys to understand that, hey, this is a informal thing, although the vision is amazing and it's going to bring some fruit. But before it's over, this right here, we're going to just sit back, so get comfortable, get your thoughts together, and get prepared for what your vision is, because we are going to make it happen. So I just want to welcome everyone to the event. Make sure you let us know if you are on here, where you are from. Drop your name, drop some things that you want on your vision so we can know how to support you. But listen, we're just so excited to be here. And I just want to say that y'all know how important it is to have a vision. But even more better than that is to do a vision with the people who are going to encourage you and support you throughout the year to see it to fruition. I'm telling you, this is such an amazing opportunity. And you guys know every year we put visions out, but guess what? This year in 2021, we're expecting it to show up just like that. We're expecting it to be quick. We're expecting it to manifest itself in your life, and we're going to hold you accountable. We're going to keep you in a position to where we're going to support you in what you're doing. So understand that as we're doing vision, and I'm sorry, can you hear me? Okay. So I just want to make sure that, as we're talking about this, you put out there what you're expecting, what you're anticipating, what you are looking for. You believe God is going to help you to achieve, because guess what? When you write the vision and you make it plain, then now you need to be in expectation, because as you're looking at your board, as you're watching it day by day, as you're looking at your goals, as you are writing them down and then you're marking them off because you're seeing that you're accomplishing that thing, you're going to know that, hey, this year is going to be different because I'm walking with my sisters. We're starting out the year together, putting our visions down, and then we're going to celebrate those wins, because guess what? Angela, I said earlier, P. Angela Jones said the word for the year was maximize. So we know God is going to maximize the opportunity. What happened in 2020? Hey, we're going to leave it there, and we're going to take 2021 by storm. We're going to make sure that we are going to be out here achieving greatness, because God called us to be great, right? But I'm going to tell you, because as we're talking about the vision, there's some things that you need to understand. Number one, when you talk about vision, the Bible says write the vision down, because the people perish without a vision, right? So that means that not necessarily that it's death to you all the time, but it could be death to your dreams. It could be death to the things that you want to see accomplished. It could be death to your legacy. So writing the vision down helps you to get a roadmap that's going to show you how to make it happen. And when you start it, when you write it down, when you put a vision board up where you can visually see it, so now you are speaking it, you're writing it down, and you're looking at it. Those things together, God is working it so that it can be easily achieved. So it's a beautiful thing, and I'm super excited to be here with you guys. But what I do want to speak about is overcoming obstacles, because y'all know that in anything that you do, when you're out here trying to make it happen, we're trying to be positive, we're trying to see results. Guess what happens? The enemy will come to distract you, right? He'll put obstacles in your way to make you think that your vision is not going to come to pass. But guess what? We're rebuking that thing. We're not having it, because we know that if God gave you the vision, he's giving you the provision. So let me say that again. If God gave you the vision, he's giving you the provision. So that means that when obstacles come, I need you, number one, not to get overwhelmed. Number two, understand that when you talk about fear, everybody always says, girl, fear, just do it, scared. But sometimes you got to recognize that fear, the acronym they have, I know y'all already heard it, false evidence appearing real, right? So sometimes you need to look at your obstacles, not as something that is going to keep you from the vision. You got to have a different perspective. You need to see that thing a different way. Before you do it, sometimes you may just need to step back for a minute, retreat and come back with fresh eyes. Because sometimes we'll see a distraction, or we'll see an obstacle, or we'll see a challenge, and we get overwhelmed, and we let the fear control us and make us think that, okay, this is not going to happen for me, or I knew that it was going to be, maybe this is just not the path that God has for me. But that's not what that should be. what you need to do is step back, go somewhere, do a self-care day, get your thoughts together, get yourself, calm and peaceful so that you can come back with fresh eyes. Then reassess what you're looking at, because I guarantee you again, if God gave you the vision, he's giving you provision. But let me tell you, I want you to think of it like this. You know how sometimes you're going on a trip and you're trying to get somewhere, right? And y'all know how we do. Sometimes for some of us, we running at the last minute trying to get somewhere, and there's a roadblock in our way. And y'all know they got the streets blocked off and they trying to tell you, come on, it's a detour, right? And we looking like, I'm already about to be late. I can't afford this. I'm going in unknown territory, right? That's what an obstacle does for you. It's like an unknown territory, and it detours you to a different route. But guess what? Everything that looks like a challenge or a detour doesn't mean it's always bad. Sometimes it gives you an opportunity to see things from a different perspective. Sometimes you may get there faster by going the other way than you would have if you were going the way that you thought. So it's all about how you see things and how you understand or receive it, because sometimes it's not what happens to you, it's how you react to it. So if you just sit back and say, okay, so they're giving me a detour, I'm gonna go down here, follow the signs, and guess what, you may arrive 15 minutes earlier than what you anticipated, all because there was an obstacle in your way. You got to look at things so that they don't take you away from the vision, but they allow you to become stronger. They allow you to become more powerful. They allow you to become more creative. They allow you to reassess things and look at it and become resilient. Y'all know we have challenges all the time, but just because it comes to you doesn't mean it's going to break you. Doesn't mean it's going to stop you from achieving your vision. It just allows you to absorb it so that the things that were meant to destroy you are going to build you up, and it's going to allow your vision to come through, and it's going to be even more powerful than what you originally believed. But the thing about it is, you've got to overcome those obstacles mentally. You got to get your thoughts together, get your mind right, and then change your perception about it. You got to understand that just because the obstacle is there doesn't mean it's going to hinder me. The obstacle is going to show me a different way to go. And y'all know people fail a billion times before they achieve success. So don't look at it as a failure. Look at it as an opportunity to learn a lesson. How are you? Look at it as, what can I get? What is this obstacle trying to show me? How is it going to make me better? How is it going to make me stronger? How is it going to help me to achieve my goal? Once you realize it, once you conquer it, guess what? If God did it for you the first time, what we say all the time, baby, He's going to do it for you again. You got to always understand that the vision, the provision is already set, because if it's there, I always know we're going to win at the end. Be of good courage. Don't let an obstacle keep you from your vision. Just look at it, reassess it. If you need to talk to somebody who's going to encourage you or show you some positivity or give you a different way to see it or give you some advice, then step back and seek somebody who has wise counsel. I'm telling you, the S.h.e district is full of women who are out here doing their things, and maybe they can tell you, baby, don't get stressed out about that, because I've been there, I've done that. Try this, and it works. So listen, you are not out here by yourself. We are here to support you. We are here to encourage you. We are here to help you see your vision become achieved, because we got big things to do, and abundance is our birthright. So that's all I want to say about overcoming obstacles, because guess what? You may see one, but that doesn't mean it has to stop you in any shape, form, or fashion. You got this, okay? So now I'm going to turn this over to my girl Keisha so she can share a little bit about her thoughts on vision.
Hello, ladies. My apologies. I was on mute. Start this back over. As we are talking about vision, I actually broke down the word to a way that I can understand it so that I can see a little more clear. And I broke it down to vivid idealism, supporting intuition, omitting nonsense. Again, that's vivid idealism, supporting intuition, omitting nonsense. So if we look at the word vivid, vivid means clear image in the mind. Idealism, belief that ideas can be achieved. So when I think about vision, I think about the images in my mind, believing that these ideas can be achieved, supporting the intuition that I already had within me, and omitting any negative nonsense that can stop me from seeing my vision. And so my topic today is sacrificing for success. Let me define sacrifice. The verb term is to surrender something of value as a means of gaining something more desirable or to prevent an undesirable outcome of a situation. The noun terminology is a loss or something you give up, usually for the sake of a better cause. Now, let me define success. It's simple, the accomplishment of an aim or a purpose. So, when you think about sacrifice and you think about success, a lot of times we have to sacrifice some things in our life so that we can gain success. And it's not easy all the time because you have to put some things that you are accustomed to doing daily, some people that you are accustomed to being around, or you just have to put yourself in an uncomfortable position in order to be able to clearly see your purpose and walk in it. And some of the things we have to sacrifice is time. It's time. In order to see our vision, sometimes you have to just, sometimes you lose sleep. Sometimes your ideas come to you at night. Sleep. You're going to sacrifice that sleep. You're going to sacrifice your stability. You may be comfortable in the situation that you're in right now, but if you want to succeed, you're going to have to sacrifice what you're already comfortable with. You sacrifice your health. Sometimes you keep pushing even when you're not feeling well, just so you can be successful. You sacrifice your sanity. You have to kind of put some things on the backside of your mind so that you can continue to work and into your vision and not be bothered by the things that are around you. So pretty much you can't react to everything. You can't address everything when you are working on being successful. Your lifestyle. There's some things you may have to sacrifice and change within your lifestyle in order to succeed. Your social life. You may have to stop doing some of the things that you would usually do that were in your regular routine throughout the week, throughout the weekend, and you may have to sacrifice that time. Sad to say, but sometimes you may have to sacrifice love. For myself personally, as a single woman, right now I'm on a mission. So of course I want love and companionship, but for right now I'm focused on me and being successful and working on my goals. So right now I'm sacrificing the part of that I desire so that I can continue to walk into my purpose. So sometimes you have to sacrifice your family. Y'all know sometimes we have these things planned with our children, with our loved ones, and you may have to get to a point where you say, no, I can't do this. I can't make this gathering. I can't attend this birthday party because you got work to do. Safety. We sacrifice our safety a lot. Like right now during the pandemic, a lot of people are traveling on business. You're exposing yourself to people all over the world. When you go to an airport, you don't know who you're coming across. When you go to the grocery store, you're going grocery shopping because you need food, but you're in a crowded grocery store. So you're sacrificing yourself for something that you're trying to accomplish or something that you need. Sometimes you have to sacrifice your friends, those friendships that you held on to so dearly, but that are not conducive to your growth. You have to kind of remove yourself from some friends that are not like-minded. One of the biggest things is your finances. You have to invest. You can't be scared to invest in yourself. You have to put your money where your mouth is, and you have to pretty much just go for it. You can't be afraid, or you got to look into where you're going and not where you are now. Your finances and your bank account may say Right now you can't do A, B, and C, but you know, in order to get to Z, you got to go through those other 25 letters of the alphabet. So pretty much you got to just put your money where your mouth is and know what you got to do. Most importantly, you have to sacrifice yourself. You have to sacrifice yourself in order to succeed. You can't look for success if you didn't put yourself in success. You can't just imagine that somebody's going to do a magic trick and then boom, you're successful. No, you're going to pretty much sacrifice every part of you if you want to succeed in what it is that you truly want to do. Just like Abraham in the Bible. God asked Abraham to sacrifice his son. Now, Abraham had a huge promise on his life, and he had a great relationship with God. And God asked Abraham to sacrifice his son. And, you know, Abraham didn't hesitate. He didn't think about it. He just knew that whatever God has for me, I know I trust him. I believe that whatever his promise is for me, in order for me to get to my success, I'm going to have to be obedient and do what God says. So here's Abraham in this position where he's having to sacrifice his son to do what he's destined to do. And so when it came time and he was getting ready to go on with it, he felt bad about it, of course, but he knew that there was greater on the other side of the sacrifice that he was making. So when the time came and God seen that Abraham was truly serious about his walk and where he was going, then the ram in the bush appeared. The ram in the bush, and that ram in the bush. A lot of us are just on the other side of that bush where that ram is hiding it, but because we don't want to sacrifice some things in our life. So you have to line that up with what God has for you. And you have to know that there is going to be some sacrifices to be successful. We are not all born with silver spoons in our mouths. We are all not granted riches and inheritance. So we have to crawl before we walk, and we got to work our way up, and we're going to have to remove some things out of our life in order to completely walk in our purpose. So as I was saying, when it comes down to your vision, you have to imagine what you want in your head. You have to go ahead and just, all those thoughts that you have, start to write them down on a piece of paper. You have to believe that once you say these things that they can happen. If you don't have, if you can't believe or you don't have faith, then what's faith without works? You got to start working at it. So you got to start supporting yourself. You got to start supporting that dream or that vision that you had in your head. You got to educate yourself. You got to get the resources that you need. You got to start working on it. And then that intuition, it was already in you. First of all, our lives were already predetermined by God. When he created you, he knew where you were going. It's just all about you being in alignment with what it is that he has for you. So that intuition, that thing that you have in the very back of you that's saying, this is what you're supposed to be doing. This is what God wants you to do. This is what you are passionate about. This is where your heart is. Then you have to listen to that intuition. And in the process, you got to omit and eliminate anything that is nonsense or negative in your life. You got to remove it. You got to surround yourself around positive energy. You got to surround yourself around people that are like-minded, that you can feed off of. You can't just be the smartest person in the room. You want to be surrounded by people that you can learn from so that you can grow and so that you can build. So yeah, pretty much just keep going hard. Keep knowing what you want to be and intentional about what you're asking for through God. And that's how you're going to be successful. So again, thank y'all for listening in. Sacrifice for Success. I'm moving on over to, let me give y'all one more thing before I go off. I was getting ready to shut down, but I just thought about it. It just came to me in my head. Okay, so you can't be afraid. You can't be afraid. Like once you're given that vision, you can't be afraid to walk in it. Some things started with you early when you were a child. God already was grooming you, because there are things that he put in your path that you were more skilled at than others, that you had knowledge of and didn't have to research, that others did not have. And you have to tap back into that very little thing that you experienced as a child, and to kind of kind of water that seed that God planted in you earlier. You got to keep watering, you got to keep nurturing it, and you got to develop it. You can't just there is no shortcuts in success. There is no shortcut. So if you had it early on, don't be afraid. Don't walk away from it. Don't sweep it under the rug. Don't put it in your back pocket. Don't put it on read and not get back to it. You got to respond to that vision. You got to start to write it down. You got to start make it clear and trust and believe that God is going to work it out for you. If you are a person that does not necessarily like to ask for help, you got to start asking for help. You got to start asking for help, because you don't know everything. I don't know one person in the world that knows everything. Now, if y'all find that person, please let me know, because I want to be attached to that person so that energy can attach itself to me. But you don't know everything. Go get you some help. Go talk to your S.h.e sisters. That's what we're here for. Everybody in here is a resource. Everyone in here has a specific skill set. Everyone in here has a purpose. And so as we are networking together in order to see our vision clearly, we connect with one another. Hey, sis, look, I'm having a problem. I want to do this, but I really don't know how I should go about doing it. Well, sis, let me tell you, this is where you can start at first. So you may have the vision, but you may not necessarily have the plan. So you have to align that vision with a plan, and you have to pretty much develop that plan, map it out. I'm a firm believer in outline. And just like when you were in high school or in college and you had to write an essay, and you sit there and you write your little outlines down, you're going to do a 3.5 essay. You may have 3 topics to go along with your main idea. And as you are doing that, a lot of things start coming to you. So in that first paragraph, you pretty much communicate your main idea. You pretty much communicate your main idea in your first paragraph. And once you put that main idea and you add those extra topics, you elaborate on those topics. It's just like goal setting. You have an end goal. You set that main idea right there. And then you start putting those bullets in it, like, how do I reach this goal? And as you see those bullets, then you start to mark them off one by one. You can't just imagine yourself being successful without having a plan to get there. So as you are doing your vision boards on today, or whenever you decide to do them, have a main idea, have an end goal, and have things that you need to do in the process to reach those goals. You can't do it afraid. You got to believe in it. You have to know that where you're going is where you're supposed to be. So again, thank you all for joining me into the S.h.e District. Don't forget, there is sacrificing for success. You cannot just skip, you cannot take shortcuts. You just have to do what you got to do to be successful. And so I'm going to turn this over to our sister Ilyasa, as she talks about vision, not Ilyasa, Angela Jones. That's who we're going to hear from. Angela, you.
Hey, everybody. Good morning. If you're watching the replay, my name is Coach Angela Jones, and I'm really excited to be a part of the Vision Board event. Let me tell you why. My sisters, Angela and Marie, Keisha, have just come on here and really said some amazing things already. You know, it's so good to be connected to positive women who have vision. Vision is one of the most important things you will ever have in your life. And once you find out what your vision is, you need to protect it and guard it at all costs. And so I thank you, Keisha and Angela, for stepping in and leading the way and giving us some nuggets and things to work on as we're working on our vision boards. I want to come right behind Keisha, she was talking about omitting negativity, and that's exactly what I came on here to talk about. Effectively unsubscribing from drama so that you can give your dreams a chance to soar. Please go back and become as active as possible in the S.h.e district community page, because we have some queens on there doing the midday motivation. We have some awesome people being interviewed in the evening time, and every morsel is beneficial to you, mind, body, spirit, soul, financially. It's just so beneficial. And so a lot of what we'll be talking about this morning or this afternoon. Sorry, y'all, I'm stuck in the morning. A lot of what I'm going to be talking about this afternoon are things that I learned from the S.h.e community page. I was just on there last Saturday. Go back and check out my life about unsubscribing from things. And what it means to unsubscribe, get my notes out. What it means to unsubscribe is to remove your name from the list. So if somebody you sign up for, get you some Fashion Nova, and then you see a little ad and they're trying to advertise some weight loss pills, and you sign up because you think about losing weight. And then after a while, they keep sending you stuff. You want to unsubscribe. Now, you don't want to continue to receive those notifications. You don't want to continue to receive what they're sending you because it's just too much. It's just too much. It's just, it's fussy. And so what I want to submit to you is that there's some things that you need to unsubscribe from, no longer receive notifications of. Some things you need to remove your name from so that you can have a clearer vision. Some of us have had the blessing and the benefit to know what our purpose and our vision is, but we have a lot of cloudiness that keeps us from really optimizing and, like Angela said, maximizing on what we're supposed to be doing. Okay, so again, my title is unsubscribing from the drama so that you can give your dreams a chance to soar. Now, drama just can mean a lot of different things, but for the sake of this, it just means the unnecessary. Drama in this session is all about what you don't need to do, okay, this I'm choppy. I don't know what I need to do, y'all. Hold on, because I want to make sure y'all hear me. Give me a second. Let me see if I can close some things out so y'all can hear me clearly. Let me know if you can hear me any more clear, because I'm doing some stuff in the background, okay? Okay, guys. How's that? Is that any better? Anybody? Okay. So what I was saying is that we need to unsubscribe from things. We need to unsubscribe and take our names off the list. From the unnecessary, from people we don't need to talk to, people we don't have to talk to, places we don't have to go, shows and music and podcasts we don't have to listen to, food we don't need to eat. There's some things that we can do to really pull ourselves out of the idle and the mundane and really put a move on our dreams. Everybody wants to have dreams come to pass, but everybody doesn't know how to clear the pathway so that they can accomplish those dreams. So I've come up with a few things, just 3 things for the sake of time, that we can do to unsubscribe from the drama or remove ourselves from the unnecessary so we can get laser focused on what we want to put on our vision board. Number 1, you need to recognize your role. You need to recognize if you are a part of the drama that's in your own life. Are you calling the person who always doubts your business or always says negative things or always calls what you have going on your little business, your little project, your little website, your little tribe? Are you the one reaching out to them because that's your friend from 25 years ago, that's your bestie, that's your cousin, that's your only sister? Are you putting yourself in that position? Are you buying the snacks for the home or for the office that are keeping you overweight? Are you the one that's going to the store and buying the ho-hos and buying the all the fatty chips instead of the popcorn? Are you the one doing that? Are you listening to certain music that may create a false expectation or apply undue pressure to you. I had to stop listening to certain morning shows because I love to laugh. I love to listen to funny stuff. I love stand-up comedy. I love certain things that really get me going in the morning. But I also had to realize that some of that stuff started to put thoughts in my head, started to make me feel a certain kind of way. Some of those segments that they would do about relationships in marriage, some of the things they would say would just kind of get me thrown off before I went to work, and it would carry on with me. See, that's drama. That's unnecessary. I don't need to be putting my head in a certain space before I go in and execute. I need to keep myself clear, fresh, open, and ready to do as much work as I can do because I have a dream and I have a goal, and I'm a part of that process. Sometimes we get so lost in the work that we don't realize that we ourselves are a part of how successful we're going to be. Us being clear and away from things that can deter us on our journey. Number 2, reconsider unhealthy connections and disconnect immediately. For instance, who is it that you're talking to, or what's happening immediately before you do the following? Talk yourself out of going to the gym. Speak death on a project. I don't know if it's going to work out right. It's not really coming together. Who are you talking to, or what's happening immediately before you eat that extra donut, eat that pie of ice cream, procrastinate on your own dream? It's time for us to pay a little bit more attention to what we do and how we do it as it relates to our personal selves, because we affect how far we go in our dream. Our self-care is more than just nails. It's more than just care. It's more than just spa days. It's paying attention to the self. And it's time for us to disconnect from some of those unhealthy connections. I can go back into my 2020 and look at the people that I was talking to on the phone a year ago, and I had to make some changes this year. I said, listen, it may be some lonely days. It may be some nights where I don't get to go and hang out with everybody, but I'm making some decisions that are going to affect. Keisha just said we have to sacrifice. That's a hard job to do. It's a hard role to take on when you realize I have to sacrifice because this person or this place or this entity doesn't serve me anymore. There's some family members that I had to stop going over their houses on the weekends because I like to go and do things on my one day off, and I like to be around them as much as I can. But it started to affect my family, affect my self-esteem. Things would be said, comments would be made, or you may find yourself in a place or around people who don't celebrate you. They may not be saying anything negative to you, but they're not showing you that love and that appreciation and a celebration that you deserve. We have to reconsider who we're connected to, why we're connected to them, and how can we transform that connection so that we can be exactly who we want to be. Because what we want to do is make these vision boards, but we also want to live them out. We also want to execute them. We also want to see them mature and come to fruition because we've done what needs to be done in order to make those things happen. Okay, so then my last point, really simple, is changing your self-talk. How you talk to yourself matters. It actually matters more than who you talk to. Once you decide, what, I'm not going to talk to them, or I'm not going to go over there, or I'm not going to be involved in that office chat, like I used to be, or I'm not going to be involved in that text thread where they're dragging somebody, et cetera, et cetera. When I realized that I've disconnected from what I need to do, even when it comes to how you eat, how you carry yourself, how you dress, I'm going to disconnect from always going to the store in sweatpants. I'm going to make a conscious effort to get my image together so that when I go out, in case I see someone that is going to patronize my business, I want to be a good reflection of that. Now, I'm not saying wear heels to the grocery store, and I'm not saying don't wear sneakers to the store. But what I'm saying is let's unsubscribe, let's pull ourselves away from the behaviors and the mindsets that don't serve us. When people see me in Kroger or Publix or Walmart, I want them to be like, wow, she's a potential coach. That's somebody that looks like I would want to have them teach me something. That's someone that looks like I want them to show me the way. Sometimes we have to pull ourselves away from the things we've done in the past so that we can do that. So it's your self-talk and how you talk about yourself in your head is so important. And my greatest remedy for that is using confessions or things that you wake up in the morning that you confess over your life. Some people call them affirmations, but I call them confessions because anything that I'm saying over me, I'm confessing it over my soul, my mind, my body, my spirit, everything. I even confess weight loss. And I keep going back to that because that's a major thing that people put on their vision boards. They want to look a certain way. They want to feel a certain way. They want to travel certain places. But when you get to where you're traveling to, you want to look and feel good about yourself. And so when you're doing that, change the way you talk to yourself. You know what? Don't say to yourself, I can't fit that. Let me find a cover up. No, say to yourself, you know what? I'm going to do what needs to be done so I can wear that and feel good about it. You know, on my page last year, I said, I'm not sucking my stomach in not another day, because I think that I had begun to try to contort my body to make myself feel a certain way when I was like, just work on your body. Just do something different. Just unsubscribe from the guilt of how your stomach looks. Release your breath. Let your stomach hang. And if you don't feel comfortable about that hanging stomach, then work on it. But see, that changed the way I thought about my life and my mind and my body. Because then I stopped trying to be something that I wasn't and trying to look a certain way that I was not. I began to talk to myself different. Okay, get your butt up and go to the gym. Go ahead and take your supplements. Don't forget to get your gut butter from our little shopping club, inbox for details. You know, but seriously, y'all, I began to think about myself differently because I was talking to myself differently because I was tired of what I was seeing. So as you're building your vision board, as you're working on things to put on your vision board, you want to go certain places, you want to accomplish, you want to make a certain amount of money, consider what you've been doing that needs to change, that needs to be subtracted, that you need to remove yourself from. Even, and I'm going to get off of here, y'all, there are some groups that I had to unsubscribe from because the people in the group just were messy. Let's just put it out there. They did not they didn't show love and care and compassion. They would tear each other down. And you all know, if you're a part of a group where it's different from the CEO district, we don't do that here. We love on each other. We celebrate each other. You know, Keisha started out. We hype each other up. We shout each other out. And you know, the people that you're connected to that don't do that. Even if you saw a business benefit there, it's not serving the whole you. So it's not serving your whole vision. So unsubscribe from anyone, anything, any organization, any service that's not allowing you to focus on and go after your vision. I love y'all. Thank you so much. And I'm going on to the next sister.
Hello, everybody. Oh, I'm echoing. Can you hear me now? Angela, can you hear me now? Okay, great. Oh, sorry about that, guys. Operating from two different devices here. So first and foremost, oh my gosh, Angela Lewis, thank you for that obstacles. That was awesome today. And Keisha, the sacrifice, and P. Angela, Ladies, you have some amazing topics and looking in this SHE vision and what we're doing and talking about, ladies. Today, I am Mary, the mindset mentor, Ambright, and I want to talk to you about validation. So, when we're talking about validation and the vision, I want you ladies to just kind of go in your minds and I want you to just kind of internalize what we're getting ready to talk about. When we look at the vision of the CEO, we're looking at the state of being able to see or the ability to think about planning the future with the imagination of the direction each of us as a team and as an individual within are going in. We imagine being great. We have a clear sense of purpose. We have a much larger picture of our businesses as entrepreneurial women. Our position as a part of SHE and our life. In general, we have the vision to put perspective order in our daily calendars rather than just simply setting and reaching short-term goals. Which vision allows us to tackle problems before they happen instead of as they come along. Because with vision comes proper planning and alignment. When you envision something, you see the end result, but you have to lay out the steps. So laying out the steps and the plan. What does it take to get there? Who will you need to help you get there? This is how you tackle problems before they happen. Even in an emergency, you may have already had a plan B or a backup. Now, do not mistake vision for goals or objectives. Your vision helps define the goals by giving you a framework, meaning a structure, an outline. Vision helps you to evaluate your goals in every aspect of your life. Let's look at validation. One, validation is the action of checking or proving the validity or accuracy of something. For example, can you prove that a person supports your vision 100%? What type of things do they do to show that? Do they show up on time? Do they engage in meetings? Do they complete projects? Do they fill in where they're needed? Do they take leadership without asking? All of these things are ways to check the validity of a person you are in business with because the action lines up with your vision. Number two, recognition or affirmation. That's a person or their feelings or even their opinions are valid or worthwhile. How do you validate someone's feelings? P. Angela kind of touched on a little bit of this as she was just talking in her points. When you're validating how someone feels, you recognize the physical feedback. Some of you have probably already been through this. And just imagine yourself in circles at your job, with friends, with loved ones, families. So when you recognize the physical feedback you are receiving from them, do they feel included when you are mapping out the vision? Do they feel their opinions are never accepted because you only work with your favorite people? You only praise your favorite people. You overlook those people. So do they shut down because their ideas or suggestions are never good enough? Do they feel part of the team or just an individual working with those who are in a clique on the team? Oh, wow. Let that sink in, somebody. Which causes them to isolate and only participate when it's mandatory. The validity here is these people have a need to be accepted and validated. You may have a team player, but due to non-validation, get that, guys, non-validation from those that they work with, the team does not think that person lines up with the vision. But technically, that person just want to feel accepted. That person needs to be validated because we do have people that have low self-esteem. And you can't make a person not have low self-esteem. You can only work with them and help them to so that they can understand their importance. Now, this is think time. Think about a time that you felt that you needed validating from someone because each and every one of us, I don't care how strong we are, we have all wanted to be validated by somebody. And here's a perfect example. If fathers validated their daughters while they are in their youth, telling them that they are beautiful, showering them with gifts, showing them genuine love, when that girl develops into a woman, there's less of a chance for her to settle with someone who will express their love by beating on her, by disrespecting her, by degrading her. because her father has already validated her in her youth. Y'all don't hear me. The vision he set for her was self esteem, knowing her worth, knowing her value, and how to love herself and her inner beauty would be seen by other people. Now, remember, vision is not goals, it's the state of being able to see or the ability to think about planning the future with imagination. So he imagined her future to be a result of his validations in her life when she was a little girl, right? So now, why do we need validation? To simply feel a part of someone or something. Mm. It makes us feel wanted. It allows us to love ourselves more. Validation is acceptance from those we love. It gives a sense of happiness. This is why so many times people can make independent decisions. They need to know what other people think. When they have done something good to someone else, likings or satisfaction, they want to know, they want to hear that person say it. And when they do finally touch a point where they did something really good, they will keep repeating it, repeating it. It'll be days on, it'll be weeks on. Do you remember when? You remember when I did that? Because they continuously want to hear the validation. And I know some of y'all are thinking about somebody like this right now. Always have to be validated. They will continuously speak it. And it just seems like that point in their life was the most important point for them to feel accepted. Now, appreciating ourselves being stable and enduring is a trait to be grown. Let me say that again. Appreciating ourselves being stable and able to endure is a trait to being grown, to being an adult. You have the right to feel what you want. Now, question, is it wrong to seek validation? Or is it right? Is there a right or wrong? From those you love, from your job, from your friends, from your family. Sometimes we need it from ourselves. We have to keep reaffirming ourselves. That's why we do affirmations. We need to feel accepted to ourselves, and we have to plant it in the subconsciousness of our minds. So now, I don't think that there's a right or wrong, but if you constantly looking for approval of others, you would never be yourself in this life. Validation from others will cause you to modify your plans, your behavior, your responses, and just about everything that makes you a unique human being because you need constant validation. So now let's look at vision versus validation. Vision will wake you up early in the morning. You can't sleep. It's like an itch. Vision is the art of seeing what is invisible to others. Vision creates ideas. Vision gives you patience because you know what you are doing is not overnight. Vision brings obstacles. There will be things to hindsight your plans. Vision creates values. Visions has to have plan with the people and the future. Validation. Validation is listening. When other people are talking, sometimes they just need you to know that you're listening. So the validation is somebody is listening to my problems. It's expressing that what is being said is what you're hearing. Validation is smart thinking. Validation is verification. Validation is fundamentally testing logic and theory. Validation is having proof. Validation is acceptance, showing you understand. Validation is being conscious, and validation is emotional. So now that we know how vision and validation compare, let's all be aware of the signs when someone needs validating to align with the vision. So I hope today, ladies, that as you continue to move forward, continue to validate those around you. You never know if they need it or just want it. Validate yourselves, and definitely let's validate our children for the future, for the vision that we all have in line with one another. And at this time, I'm going to turn this over to Ilyasa, my yaya.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Hi, my name is Ilyasa Simpson. I'm one of the CEO senior leaders coming in on the vision of the CEO. The vision letter that I have is I intentional. I will be speaking about being intentional. So it's not just about the letter I. You have to see with the vision, with your eyes, right? So I have a question for you today. Let me ask you this. Are you living or are you just existing? So a lot of times we think that we are living our life because we're living our life like we're golden, we're living turned up. You know, any song that's going on, we're just doing it, right? But if you really look at it, how busy is your busy? How busy are you really during every single minute of your day? Are you busy, or are you busy being productive? Can you recall from the morning to the evening before you go to bed everything that you completed every single minute of the day? When you wake up and you say, "Oh, I have this to do, I have that to do," and by the end of the day, how many of you really complete all the tasks that you have assigned yourself to do the day, right? But if you look at it again, how busy is your busy? Are you being busy or are you being productive? So that's how you can determine is, are you living or are you just existing? Because when we exist, we're just there. You can just be there and emotionally unattached to everything in and out of your life. That makes you become unproductive with your life. So it's about being intentional today. So let me describe what being intentional is. Being intentional means having the ability to see specific results in the future. If you achieve them, make them bigger and better for yourself, for your business, or for your life. Remember, CEO approaches our, our mission on four layers: health, wealth, business, and social. So if you look at it on a plane, a level plane, it's creating balance in your life. How many of you can look at your health and say, I have excellent mental health, I have excellent physical health? We can take that and dissect it and pull a few things out of it, right? But if you look at the wealth, let's look at the wealth. How many of you can say, I am wealthy enough as I anticipated in my life that I would be? I had set out 30 years ago, 40 years ago to be at a certain type of financial cap, right? Have you completed that goal? Or have you not have the ability to save money to reach any type of goal? How many of you, there's so many people that are in and around your life that relies on temporary family assistance, right? But so is that your wealth? Ask yourself, what does it mean for you to be wealthy? Then there's business. Now, there's the business of not minding your business. And then there's the businesses of, let me start a business, or I am in business for myself, or I handle my business. So there's businesses the word business that you can categorize on so many different levels of your life. What type of business are you really in? And then there's social, right? Now everyone is like, "Oh, I'm a social butterfly." Then there's the ones that's like, "I'm not social at all." But how about this? Social is another way to describe yourself as having self-care, self-love, self-worth, right? How many of you can look deep inside yourself and believe in yourself? How many of you can look at yourself and say, "I am comfortable with myself. I am good in my own space"? How many of you can say, "I am able to go out and speak amongst people and not feel inferior"? How many of you can go in a crowd and just reach out and say, "I love you"? How many of you can just go and sit with yourself and say, "I am me and I feel good about it"? Can you say that? All of that has to do with layers of being social. This sometimes, again, I always speak this, in life we've all went through a thing or two. There is not one person from the time that they are born to the time that you are right now that has had a smooth transitional life and lifestyle. We go through things, but do you acknowledge that you go through things? Are you of acceptance that you go through things? Are you emotionally available for yourself? Do you allow yourself to feel? Are you able to say, "I'm comfortable with my deficiencies, defaults, mistakes"? Are you okay with that? Is there a place that you say, "Oh, I don't want nobody to know, and I'm embarrassed to tell anybody what I just experienced," and you throw it to the side and act like it never existed? And then you have a challenge moving forward in anything that you experience going forth. You develop defense walls, or of seeing, hearing, and touching people that want to embrace you. You lost the feeling of how to love and how to want to be loved. You are numb to the point where you hide from things that you really, really want in your life. Is that you? Again, the social layer. Let's talk about moving forward, being intentional. Everything you do in life is done with a certain resolve, right? So just because you set out to say, "I'm going to do A, B, or C," just because you say that, that does not mean that that will happen. So, how does it make you feel that things that you set out, or things that you set up to do not come to pass? How does that make you feel? Do you recognize the emotions that flare up within inside of you? Or do you throw them in the garbage and say, "Let's start all over"? Do you feel defeated and say, "I give up, I can't do this, I can't move forward"? Do you give up before time? Do anytime that you sweat upon your brow, that you say, "Okay, I quit"? Anything that gives you anxiety, you say, "I quit"? Anything that you go through the first time and it doesn't work, do you say, "I quit"? Guess what? You are quitting on yourself before you give yourself a chance to show yourself that you are and can be approved. So just because you set up to do something and it doesn't happen the way you envision, and again, in this case, sometimes we fail to reach our goals or expectations. This is where true intentionality takes place. This is the part that you have to look inside yourself and create a plan of intention. That means taking the extra effort, taking time to say, "I will work to achieve my goals." Taking the time to say, "No matter what, I will not give up the first time. I will not give up the second time. I will not give up the 10th time. If you knock yourself down 99 times, that means you're going to get up and try again. That means, and being intentional means, I will never give up on myself. That means stop giving up when things don't go your way. That means stop turning your back on you. Because guess what? When you turn your back on you, every soul that's attached to you, you have cut off their oxygen because they are relying on you to go forth first because they look up to you as a leader, as a parent. Your children look up to you. So when you give up on you before your time, guess what? You have given up on your children. You have given up on your children's children. You have given up generations and souls attached to you who look up to you and say, I want to be like you when I grow up. I want to be like you because you set a standard. I want to be like you because I never saw you quit. And guess what? You are giving somebody a dream that they have the vision. You are giving them vision when you do not give up. Back to not giving up. That means have a little bit of patience. That means start living and stop just existing, right? That means, as Angela was speaking about fears, false evidence is appearing to be real. It appears. That doesn't mean that's what it is. It appears to be real. If it's false and it's not real, that means you can have intentional efforts to go forth and push forth to get through to your goal. So just like Mary was speaking of validation, sometimes you can't look for other people to validate you. Sometimes you have to validate yourself, just like with motivation. Sometimes motivation doesn't wake up when you wake up. Sometimes motivation, you have to get up, come out of your inner self, pull into your outer self, and get up and run to where your goal is. Again, validation. You don't need anyone to validate you. God gave everybody a position in this life, this only journey that you will have from the time that you are born to the time that you expire. He gave everybody blue breath into everyone existing right here, right now. And he also gave us the the street, the lane, the journey when he blew breath in us, that passageway to communicate with him through prayer. So, how many people utilize that passageway that God gave every single one of us when He blew breath into our bodies to exist, to always communicate with Him, to actually do so? How many of you rely on giving ideology to people, places, and things instead of idolizing your God? Where does that part get in? You rather call she and foo around the corner instead of talking to your God. You rather have BFF1 and BFF2 that's always never there for you when you always show up for them and they don't show up for you. But I guess what? If there is a God, God is an omni God. Don't ask if there is a God. God is in existence because he blew breath in your body and he gave you a passageway to always communicate with him. And he is omni. He does not change. God does not change. You are changing. How about this? He is changing you if you let him, if you allow him. So if you want to be intentional to say, I will never fail again, you have to stand up for yourself instead of running away from yourself. It's okay to fail. because every failure is a successful person. You have to make mistakes so you can troubleshoot your way to your finish line. It's okay to fail. Stop looking at to fail as a failure. You are not. You are learning. This is a learning experience to get to your goals. Don't expect things to happen, and don't expect people to always answer for you when you can stand up and take claim over your life, over your destiny, over your vision, and be intentional to making it happen for yourself. And then, because this is what happens, we'll say, could you do this for me? And then you drop what you want done into the person's lap. And guess what you do? You walk away. That person could teach you something that next time you don't have to ask them, you can do it yourself. And guess what? When you do things yourself, the gratification is so much deeper. Your validation, that's when you can identify, I don't need anyone to validate me. I don't need anyone to motivate me because I know my skill set has enhanced because I took the time to be educated and I'm taking my learned knowledge to apply it to what I want to do for myself. Stop giving your things that you want done, your goals, your anything that you are asking anyone for. You want someone else to do it. Even like a mother, sometimes you want to have kids young and you want to run the street and you want to drop your kids to this one's house, that one's house, because you don't want to do it. And then 20 years later, guess who's raised your kids? Not you. Not you. And then you wonder why they're not respecting you at this particular moment. They're not listening to me. JoJo was not listening to me. JoJo was not listening to you because you dropped your responsibility onto somebody else. You dropped it. So therefore, not giving up on you and taking the time out to say, could you teach me something? People have so much pride and ego that they feel that they cannot ask, or excuse me, refuse to ask someone a question, ask someone for help, right? They refuse to do these things because of pride and ego. But I always add another one in there called ignorance. So pride, ego, and ignorance will ruin you on your own. You don't have to blame somebody for that. Because when we drop something in somebody else's lap and we don't take responsibility or accountability of the thought or idea at all, when it doesn't come to what you expected to, now you have placed blame on someone. Now you're pointing fingers. Now you are very angry. Now you have dismantled a relationship, right? For what? Because you won't take responsibility, right? So with intention, take time to be your true self. This is where true intention takes place. When you are intentional, you must choose to make decisions. You must choose to take action. You must do what's really important to you. Being intentional means getting clear up and up front about what you want to achieve and bring on a specific outcome or result for your future. Nobody else, yours, your future. So you have to take time out to make a decision. Make a decision to make the decision in your life. Commit yourself, get focused, strategize, make your goals, go to work for your goals, right? You have to work. That means work, right? Put in the work. Again, go for your win. You have to work at it. Evaluate yourself, because maybe there's a midpoint where something is not working. So you have to put a time period on it. So evaluate yourself to see how are you getting? Is it working for you? If it's not, reposition yourself, right? Have posture, intentional posture. And just like we all were speaking of, you got to sacrifice. You got to give up something and you got to sacrifice. And when you do that, run towards your win. This is Ilyasa Simpson. I am done with being intentional for today. Next, we have coming to the plate, Miss Karen Campbell.
On my phone. Please. Oh, you can hear me? Can you hear me now? Can you see me moving? Okay, that's my phone. Hello, everyone. My name is Karen Campbell, also known as Karen the Connector. I am one of the senior leaders in the S.h.e district. I'm glad to be here. I have just listened to these wonderful women speak. I am so full already. I just put something short and sweet together. I'm not going to be before you long. Um, Kind of like maybe like an interlude to the other speakers. And the word that I got today that just dropped down in my spirit was keep going, which is almost a piggyback on what Eliasa was saying, which why I'm so full right now, because everything she said is how I've been feeling lately, and that really ministered to me. Thank you, Eliasa. And the first thing I want to tell y'all is don't let obstacles delay or stop your progression. Sometimes in life when you're doing things and you come towards like roadblocks and pitfalls, you stop, and you stop so long that you can't even jump back into it. So today I want to let y'all know and tell y'all, don't stop, keep going, don't let it delay you, and pick up right where you dropped off. If you did stop and you had a vision or a goal and you just left it behind, no matter how long ago that was, just pick up where you left off. Go back and go get your old notes. Go back and look at your plans. Pick right up and keep going. And when things do happen and you come towards these pitfalls and roadblocks, give yourself 12, 24 hours. Plan, recharge, regroup, organize, and keep going. Just keep going and never stop. Because one thing I do know is that when I stop, it just seems like everything just sits still. Even if it's just one part of my life, if I stop, everything just crumbles under me. And like Eliasa said, there are so many people that are depending on you, and they're waiting on you to show up and reach your goals. Don't stop. Somebody is needing you. Somebody is waiting on you to do exactly what you were called to do. And that's really all I have to say today. Just don't stop, keep going. Like one of the other speakers said, validation from others will alter everything that makes you a unique individual. That really spoke to me. So I want to thank you all for joining us today. And the next person we have to speak is Miss Paula Hatton. She's coming to you right now. And you all have a wonderful day. And thank you for being a part of the S.h.e district.
Hello, ladies. My name is Paula Hatton, and I am the Senior Leader Director of the S.h.e District. You heard some awesome ladies. They gave you some good advice, and my letter is now. My letter is in, and so how many of you ladies have already done a vision board this year? How many of you ladies were waiting for today to do your vision board? The ladies gave you awesome advice. They told you not to stop. They told you not to quit. They gave you the blueprint. And you know what? The time is now. The time is now. How long are you going to wait to put your vision into place? The time is now. Every minute that you spend worrying about the future or regretting the past is a minute that you've lost now. Your vision is supposed to be plain, and when you write the vision, that's where you're going. But if you do not act on it, the vision is just a dream. It's not something that you're working towards. So when you write your vision, when you make it plain, the time to act on it is now. Realize that the present is really all that you have. Make now the primary focus of your life. Whatever the present moment contains, accept it as what you have chosen. You cannot control what happens, but if you're in the moment and you're in the now, accept that as something that you have chosen, because how you think about something is how you're going to react to it. Just to wrap up what everyone said, I don't have a long speech, because if you didn't get it from everything that everyone else said, you're not going to get it. But what you're going to have to do is take what they told you and do it now. Do not wait. Do not delay. Do not say in 2 more months, I'm going to do another vision board, because you didn't do the vision board that you made this month. So, S.h.e Vision is about making your vision and doing it when? Doing it now. Right now, not tomorrow, but now. Once you write your vision, make sure you're taking steps to do it. Do not procrastinate. Do not hesitate. Do it like T.I. said, ASAP. Do it now. As T.I. said, ASAP. Do it now. You all have a wonderful day. I want you all to do your vision boards. We're going to come back later. We're going to show you our vision boards. We want to see your vision boards. We want to see what you have done. So if you've done a vision board already, or if you're working on your vision board with us, when we come back later, we want you to show us what you've done. So if you've done a vision board, comment under here. We want to share what you've done. We want to share it with the community. We want to see what you are working on this year. We want to see, so maybe somebody can help you, or maybe you can help us, because we're in this together. Thank you all so much for tuning in to our broadcast. Thank you so much for being a part of the S.h.e community. And the time is when? Now.
Can y'all hear me? Am I on me? Can you all hear me okay? Thank you all so much for tuning in to our broadcast. It's, you know, we've been on now for about an hour and 20 minutes, and I just want to take this last 10 minutes to just talk to you real quick about having vision versus just having sight, right? So sight is a function of the eyes, while vision is a function of faith. And so your eyes are carnal and associated with, you know, the body protecting itself, right? So our body sometimes, and our minds and our thoughts can be our biggest enemies, because the body always wants to protect itself. So it's not going to allow you to see anything past what you can physically see, you know, in the natural, in the now, because sight doesn't want to take risks. Sight doesn't like to take risks because that's uncomfortable for the body, because that may involve some work for the body, because our bodies are lazy, right? So that may cause us to have to get around, you know, kind of distance ourselves for a season, you know, from certain people. So sight is always going to be a carnal function. It's a good thing to have sight. Don't get me wrong. It's a good thing to have sight. But when you're looking at your life, when you're looking at your goals, when you're looking at, you know, yourself 5 years or 2 years or a year from now in the future, do you have sight? Are you looking at it from a perspective of sight, or are you looking at it from a perspective of vision? Because vision is a function of faith. We look through our lens of faith and not just sight. So sight is the ability to see things as they are, as we just stated. I'm looking at my bank account. My bank account is negative. I'm looking at my bills. I have more bills than I do money. I'm looking at my children, you know, running rampant and doing their own thing. I'm just looking at everything around me, right? And so I'm only able to process, if I only have sight, I'm only able to process what's right in front of me. And guess what? I've been there. That creates worry. That creates anxiety. On the other hand, vision is the ability to see things as they are or should be. You know, like one of our leaders, I don't know who specifically said it, that's the reason why we do our affirmations, right? Because affirmations aren't looking, you don't do affirmations through sight, you do affirmations through vision, because you're calling in, you know, what you see your life looking like, right? Not what's in front of you. And so that vision is going to allow you to put action, because your faith is action. Faith is action, right? Faith is an action word. And so your vision gives you the ability to see things as they could or should be. That's nothing but AKA faith, right? So sight, again, is confined to your current environment, while vision sees beyond your now. Like, you know, Paula was saying, the time is now, but the vision, you got to see past the now. You have to see past this present moment and into your future possibilities, right? So, you know, I'm just reiterating this sight thing, because I know, you know, I made a post the other day. You know, we're actually in, you know, my garage right now. So someone with just sight would look at my garage and say, this is a garage, I'm going to put my car in it, right? Versus, you know, I am blessed to have vision, right? So I saw a space that I created, because we are creators. We are created from the ultimate, you know, creator. So most visionaries have the power to create, because they can see. Like, I saw this space not as a garage, but as a personal event space for myself, for me to utilize. Is that making sense to everyone? And so it's fueled, sight is just fueled by an idea, a temporary idea, temporary satisfaction. Again, the body is lazy. The body's always going to protect itself. The body always wants to be satisfied and comfortable, while your vision is fueled by an idea so powerful, you have to plug into something else outside of yourself, right? When you have vision, I have big vision. My vision literally scares me and keeps me up at night, because I know if God doesn't do it, it won't get done, right? So sight is I put my hand to the plow, and I'm only producing what that plow produces because I put my hand to the plow, right? Vision is I put God's hands to the plow, and I'm led by Him, right? So I'm getting the manifestation and the results, supernatural results, not just what I can produce, right? So starting back all the way over, you know, the question is, what can I do to go from sight to vision? The number one thing that we are going to focus on in the S.h.e district, and you know, Ms. Takesha Morris did such an awesome job with the morning motivation on Thursday, talking about knowing your identity. We got to start, ladies, from square one. Like, we got to back it all the way up, right? Because we can have all of the pretty pictures, magazine, Google pictures, whatever on our board. But if we don't know our true identity, we're going to miss it. And it's all going to, we're always going to be just a little bit off course, right? And so a little bit off course for miles and miles, you're totally off the path, right? So I was asking a young lady, the other day, like, who are you? Like, what is your identity? And, it literally drove her to tears because unfortunately she was unable to answer, because she was able to answer, but all the reasons she gave me was associated and tied to some other title, right? And so when I said that's not who you are, you're not a mom, you're not a wife, like, who are you, right? So we got to get back to our identity being established in who God says we are, right? And if we get our identity in check, if we understand and get a revelation on our true identity, you will no longer function under just sight. You will have to have vision, because that's where you're operating from because of your identity. We are daughters of a king, right? He owns heaven and earth. He created rules and sustains heaven and earth every single day, 24 hours a day. That is your father. And I know, social media will try to tell us who we are. We look and, comparison, where we're comparing ourselves to, who we see on social media. Your identity is in who God says you are. And you actually you can't just read it. You have to get a revelation on that thing before you can start operating, from that place, right? And that's one of the things, one of the main areas of focus that we are going to be really, really, really homing in on, with our members, is helping our members to establish their identity. Because now if you have identity, you don't need validation, right, from anyone. You don't need to, you don't walk in fear, right? Having vision, you can't walk in fear and have vision. You're walking in sight, because you're walking according to what's in front of you and the things that are around you, and that becomes fearful, right? Because we typically don't have the ability to change our circumstances, right? So that's why we worry, because we're only looking at the abilities that we have in the natural versus having vision and knowing that the Father can bring us out of anything. I don't care if it was self-inflicted or not. God loves us, and He has the ability to bring us out, right? So let's just, I won't hold you all long, but this is something that as a group and as a community, we really are going to start to focus on establishing our identity, knowing who we really are, right? And it not being tied to a title or a thing or possessions or people, right? So I would definitely encourage you, if you know anyone who needs to be a part of the S.h.e district, please help us to grow the community. I know this is a women's empowerment organization, but this is a ministry, right? And we know that there is a deficit of women walking in their authority to their maximum capacity. That's why, Elias broke it down, so eloquently. We deal with all the layers: the health, business, wealth, and social. We are multi-layered beings, and we need tribes, right? We're groomed that way. By nature, we are emotional beings, and we like camaraderie. So I would just tag, invite 3 or 4 people this week, 3 or 4 ladies who, 3 or 4 ladies who could use the S.h.e district. We are going to put our foot on the gas and, come out the gate hard here in the next 30 days. And we're just looking to help those women who may have just recently, or not recently. This was me. I knew I was built for more. I just I didn't put myself in a position to grow, right? I was stagnant. I didn't have any resources. I didn't really have the people to plug into. So I wish I'd have had a S.h.e district back in the day, but God's timing is perfect, right? So if you know women of a woman or women who need the SHE-E district, we want every single woman. Our goal is to identify the leader within. We are casting down mediocrity. You know, the White House picket fence, you know, 2 pretty kids, that's all fine and good, right? But that's not who you are. Like, that's not what you work towards. Why? Find out your purpose. Why are you here? What's your assignment? Right? So that, again, those little things keep us veering off the path that we're supposed to be on, and miles of that, and we look up and we're totally off track, right? So I would definitely, it's now, you know, 2:31. I won't hold you long, but thank you all so much to my leaders who did an amazing job breaking down the SHE-E vision for the year. I would just definitely, you know, encourage you all to, you know, spend some time in prayer. You know, we had a great conversation on Thursday about self-care as it relates to quiet time and prayer with Miss Kimberly Mays. And I would definitely encourage you all to find the time to spend some time with God so that you can hear your next steps, because life gets a little noisy. Like, he's always talking to us and telling us, but sometimes life gets in the way. Life is too noisy. So we need to get back to spending that quiet time with God, because, you know, 2020, it was 2020 vision, because it opened our eyes to a lot of things that we were blind to, right? And so 2020 was a year of vision, but now 2021 is the year to manifest, right? So the seeds were planted last year. The information went forth last year. Now 2021 is time for the application so that we can get to the manifestation of the life that God wants us to live, the life of our desires. And we're going to live that life unapologetically, all right? So as Ms. Paula stated, we're actually getting ready to log off, and we're going to work on our vision boards. We're going to come back a little later. We're going to post a Zoom probably around 7:00 p.m. this evening, Eastern Standard Time. We are going to come back on Zoom, and we'll post that information on the community page. We're going to come back via Zoom, and we're going to share our vision boards and talk about our vision board. So again, thank you all for tuning in. Thank you so much to all of our senior leaders for participating in this event today. And, you know, let's just make this year. Let's start the year off. Let's set the tone for this year right now. Like Paula said, the time is now. Set the tone for this year and tell this year what it's going to do. Not the opposite, right? We've been there, done that, got a t-shirt with that. So we're over that, right? So join us back here, not here, but join us in the Zoom. It'll be in the chat, 7 p.m. Thank you all so much for tuning in, and we'll see you all a little later. Bye.